Hey everybody, welcome back to JT Rants, where we give you real life, real stories, real estate, no fluff, right? JT Rants, welcome to our podcast. My name is Johnny Perez.
And I'm Tony Elias, and here we are for another powerful week of ranting about real estate and what's out there and what people are talking about.
So if you haven't already, like us, subscribe us. We need some subscribers because I think we just got our third or fourth subscriber. So
hey, we'll take it.
We appreciate that 100%. So today, Tony, we have something we've been hearing from a lot of consumers, a lot of clients, a lot of people that are calling on real estate, on properties right now. They're asking, should I wait to buy a house, right? Will mortgage rates go down? Will the prices ever drop, right? And so basically, is now a good time to buy?
That's the $1 million question, Johnny. Everybody wants to know, is now the time to buy? Or should I wait? Or should I hold off because prices are going to crash? All this speculation. But what's the reality? I mean, what are you telling your clients out there?
Well, I think, from my crystal ball, the end is coming. I go straight to facts, Tony. I always say, listen, numbers don't lie. Okay.
No.
I know there was a saying from a lot of agents that always say buyers are liars, right? I never believed that. Every one of my clients always were truthful to me and always told me, the real stuff. But ideally, guys, numbers are numbers, right? Right now, there's a stat out there that says 73% of the buyers are sitting on the sideline, waiting for a miracle, waiting for an act of God, waiting for the new virus to hit the United States, right? Waiting for interest rates to drop. Right. And there's a lot of, you know what? I get it. It's we're scared. We're scared of the market. There's uncertainty, and the media does not help us. What are you doing, Tony?
I mean, Johnny, like any investment, there's always uncertainty. And if you stop yourself from taking the risk, then you stop yourself from getting the win. You know what I mean? So sometimes you just got to look at it as, is this the good time for me to buy? Trying to predict things out there, as well as I do, it's impossible. Most people are waiting for the interest rates to come back to the 2-3% like they were with COVID. But let me tell you something. In the history of real estate, that has never happened. That's the first time that's ever happened. So to try to think that real estate interest rates are going to go back to that, you're asking for something that never happened in the history of real estate to happen again.
Right. And I think that's why a lot of people are like, okay, the ship has launched a new virus, and we're hoping that not that we get shut down, but that it affects the interest rates. Right. And the reality of it is, we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen, but we do know, like we talked about last week, there is more inventory, guys, out there. Yeah. So as a buyer, we got to look at facts. There's a fact number one. 73% of the buyers sitting on the sideline, which means there are fewer buyers out shopping. So if you are shopping, you have the edge. Fact number two, you have more opportunities. There's more inventory on the market.
Right. So that's like, that in itself is two perfect combinations. You have less people out shopping. You have more sellers looking to sell, which means a lot of them are going to undercut each other to try to get sold first. So you as a buyer, if you are able to buy, this is a great time to buy. Historically, interest rates have always been around 5 to 6%. So when people are saying interest rates are high, compared to what? In the 80s and the 90s, they were 18, 20%. So what's considered high?
Yeah. Well, it's something I hear about that, though. Yeah, Tony, they were 17%, but houses were $73,000.
It's all relevant. It's all relevant. They were 73,000, but the interest rate was 18%. Now houses, average price in San Diego is $1 million, but interest rates are 6%. That's half the price, and that's half the cut.
And you know what that tells me? I should have bought a house back then, because if I bought my house for 73,000, it's worth 1.1 on the average medium, right? I think a lot of buyers, or just public in general, don't realize, guys, if you take a stat over the last 100 years, your home doubles every 10 years in value.
That's it.
And so I was talking to a buyer earlier today, and he says, I have my money in the stock market, does it make sense that if I'm getting a 10% return on my money, playing the stocks, to move it into real estate? And I said, listen, first of all, everybody has their own threshold. Everybody's trying to accomplish what you want to accomplish. But if you want to build doors, you want to build that long-term portfolio, real estate is long-term.
Right.
Yes, we've been spoiled. Yes, we've been made 6 figures on a property in less than 2 years. People get excited about that. But the reality of it is they're not building anymore. We're running out of land, especially here in San Diego. So my approach to him was, hey, it's going to be up to your final decision. But the reality of it is, do you want to continue making that 10%? And again, I don't have a crystal ball, so I don't know how long the stock market's going to go up, down, or it might even crash. Who knows? Bitcoin might take it all over. I don't know. But what I am certain about is that house is going to be there 10 years from now. That house is going to be there 20 years from now.
Exactly. I mean, you got something tangible. Stock market crashes. What do you got?
Yeah.
You don't got a piece of paper that says, hey, I own this, this stock. Your money is going down. With real estate, yes, it's going to go through up and down cycles, but you always need somewhere to live.
Yeah.
And if you're living in it and it's long-term anyways, you're going to ride the cycle up or down. So what really matters with buying a home? Does it matter what price you pay, or does it matter, are you comfortable with the payments, and can you keep that payment sustainable, or can you sustain that payment over a period of 10, 12, 15 years as you grow in that house?
Yeah. Yeah. And what's nice is we're not seeing stated loans right now. We're seeing fixed. We're seeing fully fixed. We're seeing all the one payment pays your mortgage, your interest. PITI, they call it. For you guys that are first-time home buyers listening to us, PITI is principal, interest, taxes, and house insurance. Right? So you don't have to worry about paying property taxes on your own or that yearly. It's all impounded into one account. So as Tony said, yes, interest rates may seem higher, but we also believe that one day they will drop. One day they will go lower. Will prices be the same price they are today, right now that you're looking at that house?
No. Yeah. And I mean, it's no different than put yourself back in the early days when houses was 73,000. You probably were having the same thought then.
Yeah.
Is it too much to buy a home right now? I mean, flash forward here in 2026, looking back, you're like, I would have bought 10, 12 of those homes. So let's flash forward again another 20 years. You're probably going to be looking back saying, why was I even questioning buying a home for $1 million or $700,000 at a 5% interest rate when that same home is now $2 million or $3 million? They're going to keep going up.
You're spot on with that, because you also have to ask yourself, if you are a renter, you are a tenant today, which there's a lot of tenants out there, and for each their own reasons, but you're at 100% interest right now. You're interest only.
Right.
And the only benefit you have, we talked about this last week too, and I've had a couple other shows I was on. The only benefit you have is the roof over your head.
Right.
You decide to move out. Some of you may be even lucky if you get half of your deposit back. Right. So we're worried about these interest rates, and you have to take a step back and ask yourself, what is your current interest rate that you're on right now? And I literally were talking to somebody and they're looking at me like cross-eyed, like, what do you mean? What interest rate am I on? I don't own a house, Johnny. And
what are you getting for that money? I mean, yeah, you have a place to live, but where's that money going? You're just handing it to someone else and making them rich. You're paying their home for them.
Yeah. You're right on that. So actually, I'm going to actually put a better one up. I like this one here, rent versus own. But I think what I want to go back to is this one that we were just talking about. As again, I always feel like numbers don't lie, right? And I know our people want to hear us rant, and we're going to get into some good rants right now about buying in this market. But it's also good to understand what the actual monthly payment difference is on a 1% rate, because if the rates drop by 1%, guys, and this is what I have to continuously tell all the buyers that are ghosting me right now because they don't want to go because they were told by Uncle Earl to wait until the rates fall. And I'm like, you're waiting to save how much? $400 a month? Because when the rates drop 1%, you're not going to be the only offer on that house, Mr. Buyer. You're going to now be competing with 3 or 4 buyers. And what do you think is going to happen in that, which you had one happen last night? Tell us about that one that you just did up north.
I mean, same situation. I have a buyer looking at this beautiful home. They love it. interest, they're asking if now's the time to buy. We go ahead and put an offer on it, and there's still 4 to 5 offers on it because inventory is still low. And now they're bidding the price up. So the question becomes, how much longer are you going to wait? Even if prices go up more, if you buy now, you could always refinance the interest rate later, but you can never refinance the price, Johnny. Once you pay that price, that's what you pay. So if you're going to wait for interest rates to come down, expect to pay a higher price for that home because more buyers are going to jump back in. And if we go back to the original slide that we started with, what did we say? There's 73% of buyers on the sideline. There's more sellers out there. This is the time to try to negotiate a good deal for yourself. Lock up a house for your family that you can live in for the next 10 to 12 years. And you don't have to worry about if the market goes up and down. As in with the stock market, you do have to worry about it because if it goes down and you need that money, you're selling at a loss.
Right.
With your home, you always have a place. You always need a place to live.
Yeah. So your thought is marry the house and date the rate.
Yeah.
Right? This was like the theme. This was like the real estate theme song of 2022.
I like that. Marry the house, date the rate.
Yeah. And I'm not a true believer in that in some aspects, because back then, and I think today too, we're starting to see some of these arms, these 2-1, 3-1 buy downs. So a lot of people were saying, hey, marry the house, which I agree on 100%, right? But date the rate. I'm kind of date the rate if it's a set 30-year fix.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do not date a floozy
right
to change on you in a year.
Right. And not only that, think about it. I mean, with the interest rates, going, what caused all this problem in the 2008 of this crash of the market was all these interest rates of 1 year, 2 year adjustable arms. And what people don't seem to understand that are waiting on the sidelines right now is they think that crash is going to happen again. Most of the sellers, I'm telling you guys right now, that are in the market right now that have bought a home in the past probably 5 to 10 years are in a fixed low interest rate. So they're not going to sell. They're locked in at 2%, 3% interest rates. So what do you think is going to cause the crash? I mean, real estate is always a supply and demand market. And right now in San Diego, we only have 2,600 homes for sale in all San Diego County.
Wow.
And we're selling about 1,800 a month. We don't even have a 1 month supply of homes.
Yeah.
So where's the crash going to come from when there's still a demand and there's a very low supply?
Right.
What caused that crash in 2008 is the supply flew up and then the demand dropped because everybody was losing their homes and couldn't afford to buy a home.
Right. And so that's where we go back to date the rate.
Right.
Talk about that. You want to date a fixed rate, right? It's like dating a real person. Like you want to make sure that you're going to have that commitment for long term. And some buyers and some agents even out there, I had 2 lenders. Hey, we can show you how to get a buyer in there by doing a 3-1 buy down. Well, do you guys really understand a 3-1 buy down? Right? It drops your interest rate by anywhere between 1 to 2 points the starting year. So you may have a 4% interest rate starting right now for the next 12 months, which is great. So let's look at this payment here. Let's just look at this 6% payment. It shows $2,998, right? For a $500,000 home. Let's just say that. That's your payment at a 6% fixed. Well, let's say now I'm going to take the 4%. My payment's going to be a lot lower.
Right.
What agents and the consumers don't realize is that I'm going to get really comfortable with that first year's lower payment to where when year number 2 comes and my payment is going to go from $2,000 to $2,500, that's going to be a shocker.
Yeah. Okay? And that's what caused all that problem back in the days.
Yeah. And guys, you guys that are married, believe me, happy wife is a happy life. And if you got used to taking her out every Wednesday for date night because you had that extra $1,000 in your bank account, that's going to stop really fast. And you know what they say? You have no honey, you have no money, you have no money, you have no honey. Okay.
And also think about this. This is a good point. I was telling a client this yesterday because she's like, well, all this talk with the hantavirus coming out. What if this creates another COVID situation and interest rates drop? Then I'll buy. Well, think about it this way. Then buy now. Yeah. Because the prices are, the prices are good and there's more sellers out there, so you can negotiate a better price. And let's say they do drop the interest rates because of a hantavirus. Now you get to refinance a home, and don't you think that home is going to be worth more money because now, because of the rate drop, everyone's going to start bidding prices up? So really, you got ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You bought now.
You get ahead today. You get ahead today. Pick up that property because seller's negotiating. Seller will give you credit. Seller will pay your concession, closing costs. Right. You'll get a good deal on the property. And you're right. If the virus does come, hey, I want to be next in line to refi when those rates drop super low again.
Exactly. Because if I don't know if you remember, Johnny, but during the COVID rush, I mean, getting a buyer into a home was impossible. You had to offer the seller 100, 200,000 over the list price, buy them tickets to Hawaii, and maybe give them a new car, and then you got the house. So it's like,
hey, call that.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to compete against that, go ahead and wait on the sidelines. But no one ever got rich waiting on the sidelines.
You got to just be like Nike and just do it. I mean, and I'm going to pop this one back up here because rent versus own is real. This is real talk right here. And everybody says, well, renting is cheaper than owning. Long term or short term? Right. The difference right here, you look at this difference. Yes, it's $1,000 a month. You're like, oh my God, Johnny, how do I afford that? Well, how do you not afford that? How can you not afford to invest in your future? It's no different than you putting money in a savings account. It's no different than you putting money into a stock market, your 401k. What if you just diversified it a little bit? And sometimes I have to have these real talks with first-time home buyers because it is scary, but it's life-changing. It's a different mindset that we have to go through as a buyer. We were all there as buyers at one point. I bought my first house when I was 21 years old. I wanted the Lexus LS 400.
And you also got to think about your future. I mean, I do property management as well. And I look at some of my tenants. For example, I have this one tenant. She's been a client. She's been a tenant for about 20 years now. And now she's retired as a teacher. Well, guess what? Her rent keeps going up every single month. And now it's getting to a point where she can't afford it. What does she have to show for it after 20 years? She has to now move out and go try to find something cheaper rent, which rent is higher now. So you're not going to find something cheaper. You're going to probably find something more expensive that's smaller than what you're living in now. And then she has nothing to show for. Versus, let's put a same situation. Let's say someone bought a home 20 years ago and now they're retiring and they want to go to a retirement home, or they want to sell their home and take that cash and go enjoy their grandkids. They can do that because they have the equity in their home. So you got to think about that long-term rent versus own. Yeah, rent may be cheaper in the short term, but in the long term, when your body starts to give out and you can't work anymore, what do you got to show for it?
Yeah, and you're right. A lot of our senior communities on fixed incomes, and so if they did not take into consideration, guys, you're going to be covering your parents' tab. The parents are going to be moving in with you sooner rather than later. Exactly. And we're seeing that happen, right? We are definitely seeing that happen. So I guess part of this is not only thinking of myself, but also like, okay, of the future generations and building generational wealth. And yes, rent. I mean, because at one point when rates dropped so low, why would you not own? Because rent was going up rent was going through the roof, especially here in San Diego. Do you remember that time where it was just like, and now it's settled. Now it has settled. But long term, build no equity. Rent's going to go up every single year, even though California is a state that supports tenants and there's all kinds of rules and regulations that limits the amount the rent can go up. It's still going to go up, guys. So if you're planning to retire and you have a fixed income of $5,000 a month, you got to really look at how long is that going to really last me?
Exactly. Whereas in lease, when you buy and you have that interest rate and that payment locked in, you know that's going to be your payment till the house is paid off. So there's no surprises. Whereas with rent, you don't know if your landlord's going to raise the rent every 6 months or every year. You don't know what to expect. And when they do, or what if he decides, you know what, I'm going to retire and I need to sell the home. Goodbye. Where are you going to go? Now you're forced to go find a home at the new current rent. Yeah. It's scary. Yeah. So don't wait. Don't try to predict.
Don't try to predict. I think that's huge right there. So in your opinion, Tony, when is the best time for a buyer? What are you telling buyers right now? When is the best time to buy? Because I had a couple questions pop up here on our chat, which that's awesome. We actually have like real people following us right now in real time asking questions. So when is the best time? What would you say?
That's a great question. I get asked that all the time. And, Johnny, I put it in my same situation. I talk from the heart as if it was me buying. I'll paint my real situation. I was looking to buy a house for me and my wife. And, we went through the whole downturn and crash in the real estate market. So it put a little fear in me of when's a good time to buy. And I remember thinking during COVID time, I'm like, oh, I'm not buying now. The market's going to crash. I mean, this virus is going to collapse everything. So I waited for the crash. And guess what happened? It didn't crash. It started going higher and higher. And I'm like, holy smokes. So then I'm like, I finally bit the bullet and just bought a house. And now I look back and my house is $300,000 worth more than what I bought it for. And I'm like, holy smokes. If I didn't buy at that time and let fear paralyze me, I would have looked back now and said, I can't even afford that house anymore. I can't even buy my house that I'm currently living in today. So to answer your question, you have to look at your own situation. And if you are financially stable, you can afford a consistent payment on a home, buy. Buying a home is your own personal preference, but you have to be able to buy. And if you're able to buy, then it's the right time to buy. Don't try to time the market. That's dangerous. Don't try to predict. Don't listen to all the mayhem and all the news and everything's crashing and everything's going on and down. Don't believe any of that. Look at your own situation. If you're able to buy and you can afford the home now, what does it matter what the market's going to do in the next 10, 12 years?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No,
what do you think? Yes, what are you telling your clients?
So my approach is always, again, able. I always tell a client, listen, every real estate agent you talk to, they're always going to tell you buy now, buy now, buy now, because we're salespeople. That's our job. We got to sell. We don't sell. We don't eat. It's very simple. I've been doing this so long that I look at it and say, listen, when I sit with the client for the very first time, I say, listen, you have to be able, willing, and qualified. Able, as you touched upon, financially set, meaning you have income coming in. You have a job that's full-time. You've been there for 2 years. You got motion going, right? You have maybe a little bit of a savings account. You don't need to have 2 years of supply of money, although we'd love that. And I think the average American only had enough for 60 days or something. I read something crazy. Remind me, we'll bring that stat up next week. But so you got to be able financially, and then you got to be willing to go through the process. I want buyers to start studying the market. I want the buyers to identify their buy box. I want you to know the neighborhood or the communities that you are considering purchasing a home in. And then I want you to take it a step further. Drive the neighborhood. Go at night. Go during the day. This is part of the process of learning. And some of you say, well, I'm not ready for another year or two. That's okay. You have to start somewhere, and it's a mindset to get you there. Then you got to get qualified. Okay, so willing to get there, willing to educate yourself, willing to gather all of your documents, because they're going to ask you for a shit ton of documents. Oh, I don't know if we're cussing on this episode. Sorry, guys. Apologize. But you got to be able to bring all those documents. I had a client call me the other day and say, excuse me, but is this lender going to ask me for my firstborn child? And I said, yeah, probably. How old is the child? I don't know. All right, no, I'm just kidding, guys. They won't ask for a firstborn child. But you got to be willing to gather the documents. And then you have to get qualified. So yes, sit with the lender, do a soft pull if you don't want to do a hard pull, right? Go through the qualification, your debt to income ratio. And I say that because there are programs out there. Did you guys know, as a first-time home buyer, there's down payment assistance programs, right? So you technically only can qualify 3 ways. Ready? And you guys write this down if you're watching this. First, you have to be a first-time home buyer. Number 2, you have to have a 640 FICO or higher. And number 3, you have to make less than $280,000 a year to qualify. Is that it? Are we leaving? Hands up. Oh, sorry. To qualify, you have to make less than $280,000, and you qualify for down payment assistance programs. California's giving away $150,000. So there's so many things going on out there, guys, that once you're qualified, then you can come up with an action plan and a timeline to get there. Right. What drives me crazy, here's my rant of the day, and I waited till the end for this. What drives me crazy is when a buyer is able, willing, and qualified, but they want to sit on the sideline with the 73% and they want to run their crystal ball. And I call that gambling. That is straight up gambling. I'm a gambling man, but not when it comes to my family, not when it comes to building generational wealth. Been there and done that, right? And I say from experience, I've seen buyers get outpriced of the market.
Right.
You said it yourself. Your home has gone up since the time you purchased it to now, 300,000 plus. Your house has gone up. Yeah. Imagine if I wanted to buy in your neighborhood back then, and I said, no, my dad told me to wait. My uncle said to wait. The media says we're on fire. The house is burning. The market's collapsing. Right. Social media is saying don't buy, just rent.
Right. And you brought up a good point, actually. And I want to mention this because I had a buyer last year who wanted to buy, and she was like, well, we're going to buy in about 3 months. So get me ready for the market. And I said, well, okay, will you qualify for a loan? Have you talked to a lender? Well, I'll do that in 3 months. I said, the best thing to do right now, if you're a buyer looking to buy, is contact your realtor and let them connect you with a good qualified lender, because you might not even know what your situation is until you talk to a lender. And for example, my buyer, when I sent them to the lender, she had to fix some stuff on her credit. She had to fix some debt to income ratio things. And it took her about 6 months. And then he was able to qualify her for a really good loan. And then she was able to buy. My point is if she waited those 3 months and then talked to the lender and then found out she had to do all those things, that would have put her back another 6 more months, a total of 9 months before she could buy. And a lot of buyers don't even know how the loan program works. They think it's just, I won't qualify, or, it's going to be too expensive. But you don't know what the lender knows. So talk to them first. And even if you don't qualify, they're going to put you on a nice plan to get you to qualify in about 3 to 5 months. And this way, at least you're qualified and you're ready to go, so that when that opportunity comes, or that house comes, or a good deal comes, you could jump on it. You already did all the steps for your credit. You did all the steps to be prepared. Don't be scared to talk to a lender. They do this day in and day out. Don't be shy. Oh, well, I don't want them to see my credit, or, man, I don't got enough income. What if I don't qualify? It's okay. If you don't qualify, they're going to give you a plan and say, hey, to qualify for the house you're looking for, this is what you got to do.
Yeah.
And if you do it, you'll be ready. And there's something to be said about that feeling. When a lender calls you and say, hey, you did all the steps, now you qualify for $1 million, and this is your payment, you're going to be like, oh, okay, great. Yeah. Now let's see if any opportunities come on the market. Let's see if any good deals come. You're ready to jump. You're not just procrastinating and pushing it off. And then when you do see a good deal and want to jump on it, the lender tells you, oh, you're not qualified. And you're like, damn, I missed out on that home.
Right. Right. And I just think a lot of buyers are scared of that process because they don't know what they don't know. Exactly. And they automatically think you're going to run my credit. You're going to run my credit. Well, there's different ways of doing it, folks. Some lenders, again, you want to find the right lenders, and we'll be more than happy to assist you or point you in the right direction. Yeah. But if we know your situation in advance, it makes our life as real estate brokers easy when I'm negotiating. I have a client right now that says, hey, I want to wait till October because I got X amount of money of bills I want paid off. I want this debt off my record so that I can go as a new homeowner debt free. Right. And I said, what if I got the seller to pay that for you? And the light bulb went ping. And she goes, will they? I said, it's happening right now. Yeah. She says, oh, I said, but I won't know if you qualify until you sit with the lender, able, willing, and qualified. You're able, you're willing. Now you got to go through the process. And she said, okay. And she went through the process and she says, whoa, I can qualify even with the debt. But if you can negotiate and get that debt paid for in the transaction, which, by the way, guys, yes, you can add student debt. You can add credit card debt. You can add an automobile loan, right? You can pay this off in the transaction. We can pay off 12 months of the HOA. There's so many
things people don't know. This is things that you know and I know because we do it day in and day out, but buyers or sellers don't know this. So don't be scared to reach out because we can give solutions just like that. And it's a great point that you brought up that the seller can pay off your debt. I have a buyer right now in escrow that we're doing that with. Mm-hmm. We asked the seller, hey, for us to move forward, The house needs repairs, but let's get a credit so that my buyer could buy down this debt and then be able to fix up their home with the money they're saving. The seller agreed to it because people are willing to negotiate. So there's always, where there's a will, there's a way. So if you just stuck in your head or you're just caught up in this procrastination, reach out to someone like us. We'll talk to you and we'll figure out all this. We'll listen to your whole story and we'll throw out some solutions.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's my biggest rant. Don't listen to Uncle Earl that doesn't own a home. Don't listen to Joe at the water cooler that's complaining every single day that the sky is falling.
Okay? Right.
And the pink elephant showed up at his door. Okay. Don't listen to what the media is telling you. Just because that influencer is sitting in front of his rented Ferrari doesn't mean that he's a multi-billionaire. Okay. Right. You have to go out and find this information yourself. And this is how you do it. This is how the process works. This is a lot of buyers are so scared. And I get it, guys, because I was a buyer for the very first time. And I was scared, right? Scared of the unknown, scared of, I don't know what I don't know.
Well, let me ask you a question. Do you regret your decision?
No, because guess what? When I end up having a child and was getting married, it allowed me to buy my bigger home. It allowed me to put my kid through college. It allowed me to have access to money that, guys, I couldn't make well, I could, but back then when I was in food and beverage business, I maybe made $100,000 a year, which was good money. But to be able to make $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 on a property, to be able to cash flow and have $3,000 of passive income come from rentals.
Yeah. How much would you have if you rented?
What's that?
How much would you have if you rented that whole time?
If I rented that whole time, I'd probably be I would be negative. I don't even know what the negativity would look like. It'd be a lot of negativity.
There you go.
It would be one of these bombs dropping. Ooh. I love this. We found out sound effects here, guys. So just so you guys know, JT Rants is only going to get better. We're going to continue to bring you the information that we see on the daily, on the weekly. We want to bring it to you guys. We're going to start being live every Friday at noon, but not next Friday, the following Friday, because I found out it's Memorial Weekend, and anytime there's a vacation coming up, Tony's gone for like 2 weeks. So we got to wait for him to come back. But yes, we appreciate you guys following us, liking us. Hey, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Final words here, Tony, while we put this up, because I look our producer's looking at me. He says we have 2 minutes. Go for it. Final words.
Well, I'm just glad that they brought this question to us, and here we are talking about it. And I hope it sheds some light on you on the whole situation of whether I should buy or if I should wait. And if you guys have any other questions or anything that's stuck in your head out there about real estate, put it in our comments, DM us, whatever it takes. We'll address it. We'll tell you real life stories. We'll tell you real life things of what people are going through and how they overcame it. Because, man, looking back on all this, if I had someone holding my hand when I was 16 years old and telling me all this information, I'd probably own 100 homes by now. But the reality is we let our mind stop us from a lot of this stuff. We get fear gets involved, and we just paralyze ourselves through procrastination. So I hope this brings some light to your situation. And Johnny, to sum this all up, is it a good time to buy or sell? Is it a good time to buy? I should just say.
It's not a good time to sell. If you have to sell, if you have to emergency sell, like if you need to sell because you want to move to buy up, sell. But if you're thinking like I just want to test the market and sell, wait.
No.
Buyer, if you're able, willing, and qualified, buy, go out, look at the opportunities. It'll smack you in the face. There's always an opportunity in every single market, in every single cycle. As long as you're able, willing, and qualified, go out there and find that deal and get the keys to your new home.
And if you don't know you're qualified, like I said, reach out to a lender and let them come up with a game plan for you. And it'll motivate you. It'll give you confidence to start looking for that deal, or at least get yourself on the right track so that you know one day you'll be ready to buy.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us. Make sure you subscribe and join us every week. We'll have more to come. And we appreciate you guys joining us today. So with that being said, I know Tony's live in front of a studio audience. All right.
Nice.
See you next week.
See.